CTV News with Mitsumi Takahashi.
Good evening. We have a shortened newscast tonight. At 6:30, we will be cutting to FIFA World Cup coverage. Now, moving day in Montreal was tough, not just because of the heat. Hundreds of people were in need of help, looking for a place to live. Here's Sweet Arasi.
The streets of Montreal show the aftermath of moving day, but what it doesn't show are the people who had nowhere to go. Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada laid out the numbers. 219 people turned to the city for help finding a new home. 71 are now in temporary emergency shelters,
which is almost a double that we had last year.
There's another concerning trend. She says more Montrealers were evicted this year than last.
The situation this year was troubling because
Benoit Roulier is with Reclac. He says rising rents and the cost of living have made the problem worse. He also adds some landlords are taking advantage of two loopholes in the system, so-called emergency evictions and moving back into their property.
These two loopholes have made it possible for some landlords to take advantage of the system and put people on the street.
Roulier says in order to improve the housing crisis, the city needs better rent control, more social housing, and a plan to put empty apartments to use.
Well, it takes courage, but you could find ways to have to force the landlords to just open and use these apartments.
The city says it will look into making sure tenants know their rights. In the meantime, its municipal housing office is helping those in temporary shelters find long-term housing. Sweet Arasi, CTV News.
Quebec, meanwhile, wants to improve access to home ownership. The Premier today announced an investment in building prefabricated homes. It's almost $1 billion for an existing program that aims to speed up the construction of new residential neighborhoods. The program is for first-time home buyers and will offer homes priced at less than $350,000. Also at the announcement today, Premier Christine Frechette confirmed that she will be running in the riding of Trois-Rivières, her hometown, in the upcoming provincial election. Well, the heat wave continues in the Montreal area. The high heat and humidity is tough on people, and Anastasia, especially tough without air conditioning.
That's right, Mitsumi. We are seeing daytime highs as high as 32 degrees. Add the humidity to that and it feels like 42. On top of all that, overnight lows are at 24. So public health is saying that you should be doing absolutely everything you can to stay cool. Now, one of the recommendations for those indoors is to close the blinds and turn on the air conditioning. But AC technicians are now saying that they are fully booked. Samuel Girard is from Industrie Garantie, and he says he's bombarded with calls to repair units that have overheated or were flooded last month.
A lot of units totally damaged. We had to do replacement. We had to rush all the orders that we had. We tried to keep it fast for the client to get the AC as soon as possible. Now we have the heat wave. We still have a lot of clients. We are behind schedule. We're working overtime, over the clock. Clean the unit outside and wash your filter. You can prevent a service call like that and damaging the compressor, the unit also.
Now, Girard says his team is prioritizing calls in order of those who may be more vulnerable to the weather. And the City of Montreal is taking a similar approach. Mayor Soraya Martinez-Ferrada said there are resources available to all Montrealers, including those who may be experiencing homelessness.
There's heat cool centers where they can be taken. So we have community organizations on the ground going around encampments and homeless people in our city. But also know that we have extended hours in pool. We have opened the water in some fountains. There's an interactive map of the city where people can actually go.
We did check in with Urgence Santé to see what calls they're getting, and there is some good news. They noted less than 5 calls due to heat-related incidents as of earlier this afternoon. But with the warning lasting through tomorrow, they say they will continue to monitor the situation. Mitsumi.
Thanks very much, Anastasia. The thunderstorms that swept Quebec yesterday caused some major damage in Saguenay-Lac-Saint-Jean. Trees were uprooted and some rooftops were torn away. At one outdoor skating rink, the panels were blown away. Many people are without power. At least 17 hydro poles came down near L'Ascension, and they say it might take until Sunday to repair them. A massive cleanup is underway in Ottawa. The city got a record-breaking 118 millimeters of rain on Canada Day.
We're trying to, while at one point trying to, address how to handle people whose basements have flooded, we've got a few houses where we're worried that the flooding might go beyond basement levels onto ground floor levels.
Highways and residential streets were flooded and several Canada Day events were cancelled. Officials say more than 1,400 people called the city's response line to report flooded basements. And there were problems on the REM this morning. It lasted for hours. Commuters were forced to find another way downtown. Many of them are losing patience. Here's Matt Grillo.
With the REM down between the Côte de Liesse and Kenora stations, commuters filed onto a bus. A service disruption on the de Montagne line lasted more than 6 hours. It started just a few minutes after 6 a.m. and the problem wasn't fully resolved until after 1 in the afternoon.
Very, very annoying, to be honest. It happens very often. The disruptions, they're starting to be pretty frequent. The
REM's operator, Pulsar, said there was a technical issue with the rail signaling equipment.
We have to go underground to make sure that there's nothing on the rails. So in this case, that would be the same. We have to go underground to make sure there's nothing on the rail, because basically the system is telling us that there's something in this section, so we have to make sure it's not the case.
That meant people from the West Island trying to get downtown were stopped at Côte de Liesse station, and commuters heading west from downtown would be stopped at Kenora.
If the REM is going to keep stopping like this, I'm going to have to start driving again.
The REM's issues during winter are well known, but this shutdown happened on one of the hottest days of the year.
Especially now that it's the summer, I don't know why there's still disruptions on the REM. If it was the winter, I'd understand, but now, to be honest, it's getting pretty frequent, and I'm late for my exam this morning.
When there are service interruptions, there are other transport options available that commuters can learn about on the REM's website. But people we spoke with say they'll take an Uber.
Kind of once a week. It's at least late, or I have to plan differently.
We totally understand the frustration of user, of course, and we apologize. We are very sorry for the inconvenience. Like any public transit system, we occasionally have service disruption.
Pulsar says compared to other public transit systems, REM service is still good. Its numbers show the REM is up and running 98% of the time. Little comfort for those who were stuck during a hot rush hour. Matt Grillo, CTV News.
Montreal police are looking for a man suspected of sexually assaulting people on public transit. Police released photos of this man. The alleged assault took place in the spring of 2025 and 2026 at the Peel, Honoré-Beaugrand, and Saint-Michel metro stations and on the 33 bus line. The alleged victims say a man touched their thighs or buttocks, and one minor said they were followed. Anyone with information is asked to call 911, or they can call InfoCrime at 514-393-1133. The RCMP conducted a search at a home in Montreal North today on suspicion of human smuggling. 2 people were arrested. It's alleged the home was used as a temporary lodging for migrants who illegally entered Canada or who were planning to illegally enter the U.S. RCMP officials say today's search is connected to events that happened near the border a month ago.
So 5 migrants that had entered Canada at the border, and they were picked up by a alleged human smuggler, and the vehicle was intercepted later on. Once he was intercepted, the driver of the vehicle pressed on the gas and rammed the RCMP vehicle, and injuring our RCMP member, and then took off. So he was later intercepted again by RCMP members.
And coming up, a massive attack on Ukraine. And Ukraine is accusing Russia of deliberately targeting civilians. And rescue in Venezuela after being buried for 8 days. There's been a major drone and missile attack in Kyiv. At least 21 people were killed. Ukraine says Russia's attacking locations that are across the city, deliberately targeting civilians. Nada Bashir reports.
Well, this is being described by Ukrainian military officials as a massive combined attack on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Nearly 500 drones, more than 70 missiles launched as part of this overnight attack. And according to Ukrainian military officials, the majority of them were intercepted, but 33 at least are said to have made impact. And the result of that has proven deadly. As you mentioned, at least 21 people killed, dozens more wounded in this attack, and rescue workers have been working throughout the day to pull casualties out of the rubble, some of them victims, but some of them also survivors. Now, we have been hearing from officials in Ukraine condemning this latest attack, which we have seen in video emerging from Ukraine, targeted residential apartment buildings across the city. But this is an attack which came with some warning. We heard from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday, telling civilians in Kyiv to take shelter. And according to transport officials, more than 50,000 Kyiv residents actually did take shelter in metro stations overnight. And we saw images of those metro stations really packed out, full of civilians preparing for a very long night as those sirens continue to sound into the early hours of this morning. And of course, this comes as part of a series of overnight attacks that Russia has carried out. The Russian Defense Ministry says they were targeting military and energy infrastructure in Ukraine, but clearly, as we can see, this is civilian infrastructure that has been impacted. And of course, as we've said, the effects of this have proven deadly.
In Venezuela, a man has been pulled out alive after he was buried under the rubble for 8 days. The man is 43 years old. He was a security guard who was trapped in a collapsed shopping center. An international rescue team found the man on the weekend. They'd been giving him food and water during the days it took him to get out. The death toll from the earthquake on June 24th now stands at least 2,300 people. A couple climbed the antenna of the Empire State Building yesterday without a tether. They now face multiple felony charges. Melissa Adan reports.
After a daring climb up the spire of the Empire State Building, followed by a proposal.
This guy is getting down on a knee, perhaps proposing to this individual.
Oh my gosh. Nearly 24 hours later, the couple faced a New York City judge. During their court appearance in New York City, Angela Nicolau and Ivan Kuznetsov did not enter a plea and are now out on supervised release. The 33 and 32-year-old, known for their daredevil stunts, seen walking out of court.
If you want to get married, they're doing it right there. Would this be more convenient?
Sources tell ABC News the couple entered the Empire State Building Tuesday night with tickets and then secretly spent the night. According to court documents, the responding officer at the Empire State Building says he went up to the 104th floor and saw a lock on the security door had been broken.
Can you just stay where you are?
And then saw live video footage of the couple on the spire. Body camera from the NYPD shows officers taking the couple into custody. According to court documents, the building's antenna emits powerful radio frequencies that could cause harm to the human body. NYPD had to wait 30 minutes for the antenna to be powered down before they could get to the duo. The couple is facing multiple charges, including reckless endangerment and burglary.
The judge granted the daring duo low-level supervised release that's often given to low-risk offenders. Their next court date is August 24th. Melissa Adan, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Weather brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
Well, the temperature has moved down by 1 degree, but it is still hot outside. We're seeing a temperature of 31 in the Montreal area right now, still feeling a lot warmer with the humidity. So more like 41 is what it's like out there, and still far off from what we'd expect to see as a normal overnight low. That number is sitting at 15 degrees. We have a warm temperature of 23 coming as the low for tonight. Along with that, we are seeing a chance of showers and possible thunderstorm risk, but we are expecting that to clear out as we head into tomorrow morning. We'll have a wake-up temperature at 24, sunny skies to start, and then we can expect to see some clouds coming in the afternoon, and then that could be the last that we see of any precipitation for a while. So our futurecast shows that clearing as we move into later in the day on Friday. And again, we are expecting to hold on to this mix of sun and clouds. Looking at our longer range forecast, Saturday, Sunday, all the way through to this time next week, really we're seeing that mix continuing in the skies along with warm daytime temperatures. So expect most of our daytime highs to sit at 28 for the larger part of the forecast, but still feeling that humidity kicking in.
And coming up, it's like Google Maps for a hospital.
Thousands of patients are coming in every single day trying to find their way to their appointment.
So now there's help through an app called Eureka. And it's a fundraiser offering people a piece of the Notre Dame Basilica.
Your Health, brought to you by Gratian Scaff's 50th anniversary gift event. Get a complete second pair and sunglasses as a gift.
It's not easy getting around the MUHC. The complex at the Glen site is one of the largest medical facilities in the province. Well, now there's an app to try to keep people from getting lost. Laurence Brisson-Dupreux has more.
Looking for a doctor's office shouldn't feel like a treasure hunt. But at the MUHC's Glen site, some visitors say finding the right room can be a challenge.
Well, the first time I came here, I ended up in the children's ward.
If you don't pay attention, you will get lost, says this man. With several hospitals and specialized clinics under one roof, the Glen site is one of the largest hospital complexes in Quebec. MUHC's Frédéric Desevita says helping people get from point A to point B has become a priority.
Thousands of patients are coming in every single day trying to find their way to their appointment within each of the buildings that we have. Which could be quite stressful for a patient, especially when you're sick.
To make those visits a little easier, the MUHC launched Eureka. It's a website that provides step-by-step directions inside the hospital. Simply scan a QR code on site or type in the URL.
Then I just follow the instructions step by step.
Then search for the clinic, service, or room needed. The website updates your route in real time, guiding users through corridors and elevators.
Once on the second floor, it's going to tell me my next steps.
And alerting you when you've reached your destination. Of course, not every visitor needs a digital guide.
Once I know where I'm going, I retain it.
But the MUHC Users Committee says the tool can help patients access care more easily while preserving the human touch many people still rely on.
The volunteers will always be important, and they will play an important role in helping patients.
And Eureka is another tool for volunteers themselves.
It's like Google Map. You can use it to find pretty much any places.
The website may not prevent every wrong turn, but the hope is it will spare some visitors a little confusion and some unnecessary stress. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
Notre Dame Basilica is trying to raise money to pay for its restoration costs, and it's taking a futuristic approach to do it. Some of the Basilica's 20,000 stones will be sold for between $35 and $250. People who buy one will be able to write messages on the stone. The messages, though, won't actually be on the stones. Instead, they will appear digitally through links that will be available only to the donors.
Nowadays, with the phones, you activate augmented reality through the camera, and on a table or on a wall, you can project. You'll see a projection of the basilica, and you could zoom in and see the highlighted stone or section of the basilica that was chosen, and the message would appear at that point.
The Basilica's restoration is a 15-year, multi-million-dollar project. It runs until the year 2040. Industry Minister Mélanie Joly was in Quebec today. She was in Terrebonne announcing $12.5 million. It's to finance to modernize 2 steel production facilities run by the ADF Group. The upgrades are needed as part of a multi-year contract with Hydro-Quebec.
This business is ground zero for the tariffs that are affecting so many steel workers. This business, 18 months ago, 80% of its business was linked to sending and exporting to the US. And now it's at 55%. Why? Because it's working with Hydro-Quebec.
Mélanie Joly also addressed the U.S. decision not to renew the current free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. Joly says the deal remains in place and talks do continue with American officials.
Business news brought to you by Au Vieux de Louvre. Generous and delicious plates all the time.
The U.S. job numbers are in. There were only 57,000 jobs added in June. That's about half of what was expected. Mirella Fernandez has more.
Still, the U.S. unemployment rate fell to 4.2%. That's because fewer Americans were looking for work. The labor participation rate measures the working age population who are employed and those looking for work. In June, it fell to 61.5%. Excluding the COVID years, it is the lowest rate in about 50 years. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 70.50. West Texas Intermediate up to 68.47. Western Canadian Select is down over $2 to 53.12. And the TSX ended the day up 109 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
The Montreal Canadiens have signed goalie Jakub Dobeš to a 3-year contract extension. Dobeš is 25 years old. This past season, he led in all rookie goaltender wins, and he helped Montreal reach the Eastern Conference final. The contract extension runs through the 29-30 season and gives him about $5.4 million US a year. So, Anastasia, there's a possibility of some thunderstorms tonight.
That's right, Mitsumi. The conditions that we're having, the mix of heat and some gusting winds, are favorable for those conditions, to develop. We are looking at a warm low along those lines, so a low of 24 degrees for the night. We're expecting those showers and any possible thunder to clear out as we head into tomorrow morning. And so tomorrow that would leave us with a wake-up temperature at 24. But there is brighter news ahead for tomorrow and the days after that. We are looking at a fair bit of sunshine and a nice mixture of sun and clouds heading into the weekend. Mitsumi.
And that's it for us. Have a good evening. Try to stay cool. Stay well. Good night.